a hot button approach. We get to go right, to the problem. We get right to the solution. We don't delay that. Yeah. So we don't want to get into product yet. Like, hey, like, here's this specialized cream that does this to your skin and doesn't have any odor. Like, I don't care about that. My shoulders hurt. Just tell me what I'm supposed to do. We've covered level 1, level 2. If you haven't seen those, go back to the Pipeline Copy Vault. It has all the previous episodes that you can see, and we go into more detail there. Today, we're going to be covering level 3, solution aware. And we'll do a quick recap just in case you haven't seen the other ones as well. So when we're looking at this in level 1, we start with unaware, right? You can actually see we did it from right to left up here just because of, I don't know, basically how the picture was in the book, I assume. But unaware, then someone has a problem, then they start looking for solutions, then they start considering different products that provide the solution, and then they become most aware when they got it narrowed down to like 2 or 3 and they pick the one with like the best offer kind of thing, right? That fits them or their values the most. So that's the buyer journey. Any sales process, any market, any product or service, sometimes it takes people, they go from 0 to hero in like 2 minutes. Sometimes it takes them 6 months to go through this buying journey, but they really hit each phase of this buying journey. So it's important to study. All right. So we'll keep flowing here. And to recap, in the unaware phase, notice the word indirect. Indirect means that they don't directly know about us yet. And so when we're approaching them, it's that, cliche example of going up to someone, girl or guy at the bar and saying, hey, we should get married. Like, we don't know each other. It's way too much. Like, what's your name? We're missing a lot of steps in the relationship building journey, which is why we want to be mindful of someone that's unaware. We want to respect the buyer's journey. So when they're indirect, we use things like story leads and proclamation leads. And just to cover some examples, a story lead would be any type of hook or headline that brings people on a journey and lets them know what they're about to embark on. So this is the example we've covered in these week's trainings. They laughed when I sat down at the piano, but when I started to play, what happened? Like, you're cooking me with curiosity, with mystery, but I have some context and I see all the people around and he's about to sit at the piano. Story leads. I was in a mastermind call yesterday, actually, and he started with a picture of a car completely crushed. He's like, this is where my life changed. And you see a completely wrecked car that went through like multiple flips and was totaled. And you're like, oh gosh, here we go. Story lead, right? Really captivating. Proclamation lead will jump up and punch you in the face. They won't always be bold font, but if it's not a bad way to lead into a proclamation lead. Read this or die. It's a little extreme, but why am I going to, now I got to kind of know. And if you look at the details below, you can see some great frameworks there. If you can't see that, it says today you have a 95% chance of eventually dying. Okay. It's kind of a weird statement to me, but like, it's a high probability from a disease or a condition for which there's already a known cure. So it's a big proclamation lead starting to inform people of a high probability problem, but you don't have to worry because I have the answer. Follow me, listen to me, stay tuned, and I'll give you what you need, right? Those are the frameworks at work. These are great examples, as you can see in the bottom left-hand corner for level 1, people that are not aware. Wait, read what or I'll die. I don't need to know much for that to grab some curiosity, all right? Now, moving along, when somebody becomes problem aware, this is me, a couple months ago when it's like, man, like I had some issues with my right shoulder and then my left shoulder started hurting. I'm like, what the heck is going on? I'm problem aware at that point. It's like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what solutions to even get. I just know that I have got pain. That's problem aware. You can use proclamation leads for this, like, hey, do your shoulders hurt? Like you can grab someone's attention with questions and different things like that. There's also secrets that are very curiosity driven. So problem aware, who are these people that we're talking to? Well, they have no hope. They're just in pain. There's a lot of worry. This is typically where they're at, what they're thinking, what they're feeling. They know something is not right, but they don't know how to fix it, where to go, what to do. Is my life always going to be like this? So they're stuck in that space. So if you come at them with solution, that kind of goes into the example of, husband, wife, or like spouse type relationship where it's like, oh, he's always trying to solve all my problems. You'll never listen. It's like those type of things. They're not ready for that. It's just, we need to hang in the pain. So a proper response of meeting our prospects where they're at is sympathy, is empathy. That lets them know that they're heard. You don't need to fix stuff. You don't need to skip the step. Their process, where they're at, meeting where they're at, is sympathy and empathy. Hey, you feel show that you feel their pain. There's some way you can relate, reciprocate with them. It's not just a problem, but know the frustration, desperation, anger it causes. It might be angry that this happened to them. We got to process that emotion first. If you're speaking to those things, you're going to catch where they're currently at mentally, emotionally. Okay. All right. So those are good examples there. Solution aware is where we get to hang today. This one's fun because today we get to introduce problem solution leads. And we come bearing gifts every single week. We've got headlines, we've got copy. We've got 5 key formats we're going to cover. So there's my hook. There's my headline for you right now. Stay tuned. That's where we're headed together. All around problem solution leads. We get to start talking about solution in combination with the problem, because now we're past stage 1 and 2. Okay. So this would actually be closer to follow the shoulder analogy. This would be closer to where I'm at, like with my shoulder stuff. I'm like, all right, this is super annoying. It's not going away. I don't need surgery, but what are some creams I could put on? What's happening to my shoulder? How am I sleeping at night? What are different sleep? Like I'm 2 nights in, I'm like, I never sleep. Who are my side sleepers? Who sleeps on their side? Yeah. So I've been doing that for 30 plus years. Apparently I can't do that anymore. So I'm like trying to sleep on my back, and there's like this pillow combination, and then it's like this whole, so I'm looking for solutions, right? So I'm watching video, and I'm looking at headlines, and they're teaching me stuff. This is the solution where claims, proof, hey, get rid of your shoulder pain if you sleep in these 2 key positions. Like these would be some of the headlines that really grab my attention. You guys with me? I didn't think I was going to get into this example today, but it makes sense. All right. So what copy works best for these stages? Let's talk about it. Problem, solution, lead. All right. First off, what is it? It's a hot button approach. We get to go right, to the problem. We get right to the solution. We don't delay that. Yeah. So we don't want to get into product yet. Like, hey, here's this specialized cream that does this to your skin and doesn't have any odor. Like, I don't care about that. My shoulders hurt. Just tell me what I'm supposed to do. Like, oh, if you put this magical cream, 3 times a day, it'll be gone in 4 hours, or 5 days. It's like, well, okay, cool. I'm in. Like, I don't care what it is. Like, let's talk problem solution. I don't want to know about the product yet. You with me on that? So focus on the biggest, most emotionally charged and relevant issue. Haven't slept in 2 weeks, haven't slept good in 2 months. That's me. You probably, because you have unnecessary pain in your, oh my gosh, yeah, it's that type of talk, those type of questions. When you write this down, take a screenshot. When you advertise fire extinguishers, open with the fire. What's the problem? A fire. What's the solution? Fire extinguisher. We got the thing, but we don't need to talk about the premium XL 2000 model of fire extinguisher that sits on the wall, is magnetized, and I don't know, we don't need to talk. That's product aware. And solution aware, it's like, hey, your house is on fire, we need to put that out immediately, and I've got the 2-step process to do it. Okay, cool. Right? Okay, so let's look at some examples. Let's break this down a little bit further, and these are examples that are from the book, hence the paper looking screenshots. Do your hands and feet feel like blocks of ice? And then below, it's kind of blurry and small, but it says, discover nature's amazing all-natural remedy for poor circulation. It's a lot of nature in that phrase, but circulation is implying the problem, and the solution is they're going to improve circulation. Problem, solution, lead. Let's keep going. Can't fall asleep, staying not staying asleep at night, waking up too early, never again. Their solution here is actually never again. How are you going to solve it? What's your method? Doesn't matter. I can show you, I can lead you the way where it's never going to happen again. Cool, I'm with that guy. You know, like that's kind of what they're going for in this headline. This is okay for solution aware stage. Okay, so these are fun examples. A pro tip here is you can also go negative. You don't have to like be the William Wallace freedom speech, lead them to the promised land type of thing. Like it doesn't always have to be rah headlines. It's okay to still sit in the pain. In fact, the pain, unfortunately, is a lot more attention grabbing and motivating, unfortunately. So meaning it works better. So there's a pro tip there. And let's apply some of this with the 5 proven formats. And here's where we're going to spend a good bulk of our time for the second part of this presentation. These are ones you're definitely going to write down, take a screenshot. These are the 5 proven formats: if this, then that, inversions, identification, the question, and instruction. And what's fun about these are formats of how you would write words and copy to grab attention. We're also going to share with you where to use these. Like, where does this apply? Like, I know we got ads from like 1960, but like, where does this go on social media today in 2020? Almost, it's crazy how much time has already passed. So we're going to cover that as well. All right, let's get into the first one. The first one here is if this, then that. And here's the example that they have: tired blood, take fast acting Geridol, if that's how you say it. I don't know. Don't love the name. But that's what it's saying. So if tired blood, if you have tired blood, and I love the asterisk there. What the heck does tired blood mean? But you can see in the description above, after flu, cold, or sore throat, they're using actually kind of another little technique in here that we'll cover in a little bit, meaning they're inventing kind of a phrase, tired blood, but it grabs your attention. If you have tired blood, you're not quite recovering the way you want from your flu, then solution, Geridol. Okay, pretty simple example. Okay, if this, then that. Let's look at another one that has if this, then that. With congestion, sinus congestion. For relief of sinus congestion, and I got to talk like this for ads apparently, and cold's misery, get the revolutionary 3-layer tablet. Helps drain all 8 sinus cavities. I didn't even know there was 8 sinus cavities. Wow, thank you for educating me. This is great. And I just need 3 tablets, which why do I get the feeling that you could really take 1, but it's like, it doesn't hurt if they take 3 and then they'll go through the bottle faster and we can sell more. I don't know if that's true. Just feel like that's going to be the case. Anyway, in this case, what's the if this, then that statement? If sinus congestion, then Dristan. Is that how you say that? Dristan? I don't know. These names kill me. All right. So that would be the framework that we can use. I like how concise, my like favorite part of this format is how concise it can be. And you still have some creativity if you want to use more words. Basically, you get the sense of what they're solving. I love the picture here too. There's stress on his face, there's pain, and there's, arrows going right all to the sinuses. And someone that's really suffering for that will be like, oh my gosh, that's how I feel immediately. So that part's cool. All right, let's hit the second one. Inversions. You might be able to guess what this one is. Inversions are actually also called negative promise leads. What does that mean? It means that you're promising the negative. So here's an example. Get all the benefits of summer sunshine, but avoid the discomforts. We're promising that you're not going to be uncomfortable. We're not promising that you're going to be amazing and comfortable. We're just promising that you're going to be neutral. You're not comfortable. It's like we're making a promise on the negative. And if you look at this framework really closely, there's something else that you might notice. In a problem solution lead, it goes with the problem and then provides the solution. But in this example, it's actually solution problem. It's inversion. You can flip it. So get all the benefits of summer sunshine, solution that you want. You want the benefits, but avoid the discomforts, the problem. So it's actually a solution problem lead. right? It's an inversion. The second one is how to do wonders with a little land. So the problem here is you have a little bit of land, but we got to sell this thing and make it seem awesome. Oh, the wonders. Such a great, feely word to put in there as the solution. And there's more to that headline that was really cool. They're split testing different versions of it. This is going to be a plug to go get the book and read this part of Inversions, because when you go through it, they were testing, what was it? I can remember, a little bit of land, but a whole lot of living. But this one actually performed like 40% better. And then they had another one that was even worse. But it's cool to see even the best like split testing and going through it and how powerful words are and how much they can increase conversion. So they do matter. Okay, cool. We covered the examples. Avoid the discomforts and a little bit of land are the negatives. Okay, here's the next one, the third one. Identification. The design of this format is to speak to the person based on how they identify themselves. This creates the feeling of being heard. That's why it's powerful. So how we see ourselves, if you hear somebody else speaking to similar values, you're like, oh, I align with that. That's how I see myself. I feel like that immediately, without knowing all the person's backstory, I know that I'll feel more heard. Like I feel like they'll get me. So the trust increases faster. That's why it's powerful. So let's look at examples within the problem solution lead structure. Advice to wives whose husbands don't save money by a wife. If you're a wife and you're reading this thing, girl, you get me, or however that would go, And so let's check it out. Next one, to people who want to write but can't get started. It's a great headline. So if you're an author, aspiring author, well, maybe not an author, but an aspiring author, I guess, technically in this case, you'd be like, oh, shoot, like that's me. I identify with that journey, that pain, that desire. Cool, let's do it. Last one, for the women, I might have typed it wrong. For the women who is older than she looks. Actually, maybe I typed it right. For the women who is older than she looks. What was cool about this one is this framework is kind of a compliment, right? Oh man, I do still look good. I do still look young. But speaking to the people that don't identify with that, in other words, they feel like they look equal or older than they actually are, they'll want and desire that outcome in that phrase. So you see how that kind of speaks to both identities within the one framework. That's why that particular, as you study that headline and that campaign, that's part of why it performed well. So if you can speak to multiple identities that are based on the problem that you solve, winner, chicken dinner. All right. You guys think these are cool? Is it helpful to like go through each format, example, how does this apply to us? Okay, cool. Stay tuned. We got 2 more, and then we're going to share where these apply on social, which I think will be really powerful for you guys to see. The question, this one's pretty straightforward. You're asking a question, but here's the fun fact. The last question was split tested with other promise lead that we'll get here in a second, with other promise leads and secret leads. Which one did better? Well, let's talk about it. I'll hit kind of the next part in a bit. Okay, so the first question is, are you ever tongue-tied at a party? Simple question. Oh my gosh, social anxiety. People that are in this camp, they're going to really resonate. Like, help me with this. In fact, I was just watching a podcast was it like 2 or 3 weeks ago? And this guy built a whole business around this, actually. It's a story that's coming. I forgot about this story. It's like how to run like the best 2-hour networking party ever. And he has all these icebreakers and games, and you can tell like, whoa, this guy's really gone down this rabbit hole. It's insane. But he's never tongue-tied at a party and knows how to like manage the tone and the energy of the room. So anyway, that would definitely go down that path. Do you do any of these 10 embarrassing things? Now watch this one closely with the last one, because they're both doing a similar pattern, which is really powerful. Okay. Do you do any of these 10 embarrassing things? Oh no, which ones, what are they? There's a lot of mystery in this. Same pattern. Do you make these mistakes in English? Now, part of this question is like, you're taking, like in the last one, you're taking a mundane thing like grammar and you're, making it a more emotional, like mistakes. Oh, shoot. I don't know if you guys are like me, but I mean, there's always some period or comma or thing that I misspelled, or like I didn't structure it right. A critical brain, an editor would be pissed at me, or have, it'd be like Candyland for them because they'd have plenty of things to like clean up, right? So do you make these mistakes in English? And, we'd be going down this path. Now, why is this powerful? Why does this matter to us? Look at the word these. And we'll see this pattern and partly in the next headlines too. The word these is a little bit more emotional, and it's leading into specifics. It's implying that you know what the pain and the problem is, but you also have the solution. That's why this is a powerful question, problem solution based lead. You guys with me on that? So one simple takeaway could be work in the word these in your headline, or like you and this, we've talked about being really powerful words in copy. This is being replaced by these, implying that you have more than one. All right. I think we beat that one up pretty good. Fifth and last one here is instruction. All right, instruction's cool. The key ingredient to really nail this one, this is for all my creatives out there, you get to invent a name. Sean and I have made up all kinds of names, most of which the world won't know, probably is better for it. But eventually we stumble on the right made up name for a particular problem. This is one of the funniest patterns ever to me in marketing. You can take, here's what I mean by this. You can take any pattern in the market that's already proven that you didn't create, and you can just make up a new name. You can just call it a thing, and it's a thing. And you boost authority because you're the one that made up the name of the same thing that people have already probably made up other names for, but they haven't heard the name that you made up. You guys with me? It's just weird that you can repackage somebody and there would be that much buy-in, that much more belief. There's just so many people that haven't heard the solution, but you can really position yourself in a powerful way by using that framework, that principle. All right, so preferably this is something that they haven't heard before. At the same time, you want to make sure that it still instantly makes sense. You don't want it to be ambiguous, like what the heck is that? I mean, there's ways to do that, but it's a whole other strategy. So for this one specifically, we still want it to be within context. Here's an example. How much is worker tension costing your company? What the heck is worker tension? It's not a common phrase that people talk about, but the HR department is something people talk about and everyone knows. So you can still gather that worker tension means tension, conflict within the workplace, right? It's pretty clear, yet it's not a very common phrase. These next ones, instruction doesn't always imply invention of a phrase, but it implies that you will be instructing and guiding them towards some type of how-to. So 5 familiar skin troubles. Which do you want to overcome? So there's a little bit of assumption in there, and write down the word which. That's another, and keep a T out of it. So the word which is kind of like this or these. There's the 3 key things that will help you overcome your skin troubles. Which will best suit you? It's almost like a survey or question. You're using those same frameworks that help people self-identify their problem, their solution, which is what they care about in this phase. And so that word which becomes really powerful. The next one, 7 deadly advertising mistakes. It's a play on 7 deadly sins and 7 deadly advertising mistakes. Oh, you're teaching me on what not to do, which sometimes can be equal or more valuable than teaching me what to do. If you're problem solution, you're teaching me my problem and then what to do about it. And if I know that you understand my problem really well, I'm going to trust you just as easily to have the solution, because anyone that can articulate it that much must have figured this out, right? That's the emotional logic anyway. All right, cool. So these are the 5 instruction, or these are the 5th one, the instruction. These are the 5 formats. Be thinking about which one will work best in your business, or which one seems the most fun to write. Sometimes when you're writing copy, challenge yourself to just use 2 or 3 different formats and see what comes out and what you feel like. The greats basically use these 5 formats, and they write multiple headlines through the flow of these formats, and then they split test them. And there's not like one that always dominates the other. It really depends. All right, so where do we use these things? If we look on the left here, screenshot from my phone, a lot of YouTube notification, and all these are headlines though. So, habits of highly successful content creators, how I created a new event funnel using this epic model, worst advice I've ever received, right? These are all headlines. So if you're creating content, whether it's, for YouTube or shorts or wherever, man, like we really want to nail those first 3 to 5 words, because that's what we get. I mean, maybe 2 lines at the most, but still this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is still basically 5 words. So like in 4 to 7 words, what do you got? Let's move over to the inbox. We've talked about this one quite a bit for DMs. Notice we're in message requests. And when someone's reaching out, a lot of people will say, hello, Chris. Hey, Chris. Hi, Chris. It's just, hey, first name, right? So don't do that to stand out, number one. But number two is like, we've got 3 to 5 words of real estate space to earn attention, to generate curiosity. What are we going to say? We're using the words you, this, which, these. Somewhere in the mix is a good idea. Okay. And so we can take these formats, we can apply them. We can do question-based here. We can do instruction-based here as we're having a conversation, building rapport with people, right? To grab their attention, to click and spend more time and attention with us. The next one is in our description area of content. Thumbnails matter quite a bit. They can go on thumbnails as well. But the description area of our content, you can see Sean rocking the mic there. So these are good areas in the 21st century. 3 different environments on social to consider applying the headlines. Of course, emails, of course, newsletters, of course, blog articles, of course, like copy are words that sell. Think about any form of communication and go. But I wanted to give some specifics for you.